Clement's Homebrew coming at ya. I think I might have the first review out on this one. This one comes from a local brewery here in Oregon, the Lompoc Brewing. And this is the latest of their barrel-aged series beers. Get that up there as close as I can, see if you can read that. It is the Bourbon BBL Baltic Porter. Now this is not to be confused with the Dark Side Porter that there are a lot of reviews on. You'll only find this maybe a couple comments on Untapped up on the web. It's a Baltic Porter at 8.3%. And it was bottled on January 24th, 2013. But this was actually brewed in November 23rd of 2010. And aged in bourbon barrels. So that's a lot of barrel aging. I think typically what they do is they bourbon barrel age them for maybe 9 months to a year, at least in the past ones that they've done, and then they've cellared them longer, and then they bottle them and continue to bottle condition them. So they were bottled on the 24th of January and just came into the stores today. So let me get this one poured and we'll see what it's like. All right, so here we go. It's, I'd say that it's completely opaque. It's a really dark brown in color, very thin head, you know, kind of rocky. It's gonna dissipate quickly, might leave a ring. Let's get a nose on it. Oh, that's interesting. That's kind of odd. It's all right. So I'm getting some of the dark roast malt. Getting a little bit of chocolate off of that. But I got like, what came across is like sour cherries off of it. Well, there's some sweet side, but there's almost like a hint as if there's like a sour, and there's a bit of cherry on that. Yeah, it almost gives me the impression of like a black forest cake with the, you know, the cherries and the chocolate on there. I'm also getting a little bit of a hint of like an espresso on it as well. So some chocolate, espresso, the cherries, almost a slight sour on that, which is throwing me. Interesting aroma on this for sure, but not an intense aroma, probably because it's still pretty cool. So let's go ahead and get a taste on this one. Cheers. Well, I'll be the sniffer was right. Wow, what an interesting, unique beer. Not really what I expect when I see a Baltic Porter. There is sour on this. There's definitely a sour. It's like a cherry sour, and you know, I can't find anything on their website that talks about this beer whatsoever. It's almost like I get like a Flemish brown, kind of a light sour taste off the front with like a light sour cherry. And it's a light sour. It's not a real strong sour, but it's definitely there. Then as it settles in to your mouth and you're getting towards the backside, you get like almost like a chocolate brownie flavor coming up. And you still get some of that cherry hangs in, but it's with the chocolate, which a little bit of berry too, I would say. Wow, what a unique beer. All right, I'm gonna let this warm a little, sip on it a while, and I'll come back and see what else I pick up and give you a conclusion on the Bourbon BBL Baltic Porter by Lompoc. Okay, I'm back. I've been sipping on this for a while. I filled up a little bit again. It is what it is. You know, in the one sense, I'm disappointed because we're talking about a beer made in 2010, and granted it was late 2010, but you know, you're talking about 2.5 years, so a little over 2 years before they bottled it. Then they bottle conditioned for a while. You're hearing bourbon barrels and Baltic Porter, and at least that's what I'm hearing. I'm like, woohoo! No hint as to what's in it. And that's going to be reflected basically in some of my scores. But the thing is, this really is a unique beer. Pretty much everything that I said applied. I mean, you've got kind of some taste of brown, as it sits in the back, you do get some of those burnt flavors. So which is more typical in a Baltic porter. You do get some of that chocolate and a hint of espresso. You get some cherry, but it's more to a sour cherry. And you get a hint of prune. But you have that sour aspect, and it reminds you of dark fruits and makes you think of a Flemish brown ale. So this is a conundrum. Yeah, you don't hear conundrum in beer reviews often. Get over it. This is a conundrum. You've got a beer here that's a Baltic porter. There are elements in this more of a Flemish brown ale. And then you have elements of almost more of a Black Forest cake-ish type thing. But the sour then comes back in. It's a very interesting beer. I will grant you that. I do like Flemish reds and Flemish brown ales. They're excellent. I love Baltic porters. I will not tell you that I'm a fan of Black Forest cake. My wife makes a really good one. A few of the sons always request it. I always have a little bit, but it works in the beer somehow. It does. All right, let's get to rating. Baltic porter. Okay, rating it as a Baltic porter. You know, I just expect that rich chocolate and espresso and some burnt malts, and I mean, a Baltic porter is like a Russian Imperial Stout, but the porter version of that, and it's not that. It doesn't qualify as that, and yet it has some really redeeming qualities, some really nice taste. So I've got to go down and put it in that C+ category range, really. A high C+, mind you. And I'm going to give it a 79 as a Baltic porter. That may be generous by some people, but it's a really nice beer. Now, in terms of my overall, this is kind of where we turn a corner. This is... I don't have to explain myself too much, but my rankings usually go down on overall. They are going up on this one because this is a fascinating beer, and I love variety, and I love creativity, and they put a lot of work into this. They aged this for years. I'll give them some credit there, but in terms of the taste, I don't know why, but somehow this, for me, this works. I've got this like Flemish brown ale, and I've got some of these Baltic porter qualities. And I got this whole Black Forest cake thing going on. It's very unique. It's very fun. I can't really push it up to the B+ category, but I can definitely take it to a high B. I'm giving it an 86 on my overall rating because I'm kind of really repulsed and driven towards this beer. How else can I say it? It's just unique, and it's really fun. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this bottle. So, wow, I don't know. I've given you some interesting descriptors to work on this one. You'll have to think it over. You might have a hard time finding it, but if you can, and you like the things that you've heard, give this one a shot. It's quite fun, actually. I think so, at least. This is Kevin from Clement's Homebrew, just saying life's too short to drink cheap beer, and I will see you on the next beer review. See ya.